Bam, it's broken. Bam! Hey, look me now, Opie. My shit's broken. Come on, Opie. You were just sleeping for like an hour. Why I gotta get up and like cause me problems now? I don't want I don't want to make that go away. I don't want to message them. I don't want to message them. That. Do that. Oh, okay, that don't sound good. Sounds like you're gonna throw up on Mom's beautiful chair. She will mess you up for that, pup. Yes, she will. It's like a $500 chair, bro. So what's up? What's happening, people? Let's see if anybody's on. Doesn't look like anybody's on. Ow, ow, ew. Ew, cut it out, ew. Cut it out, Opie. Why don't scratch me? Huh? Oh, scratch the face. Scratch the face. Scratch the face. Scratch the face. Scratch it, scratch it, scratch it. Ow, come on. Cut it out. Cut it out. Homie, don't play it. Alright, just sit down. Watch your feet. Watch your feet. There you go. Leave my bag alone. Just sit down. Just sit down. Just sit. Sit your butt. Sit your butt. Sit your butt down. Come on. Stop. Oh, you just hit your face. You just hit your face. Sorry about that. I didn't mean that to happen. Hey, don't do it. Come on, get down. Yikes. Yikes. I guess I'll play some Apex. Play something different. Wait a minute. I didn't see Apex in there. I must be going blind. I was about to freak out. Play Apex for the time being. I was gonna play something else. Wait for Zero or Mr. Grimbo Slice to get on. But I advertised the Apex. I might as well play the Apex. What? What? Ooh, I like that. I like that. That's okay. I do like that though. Look at that robot. Look at that robot. Big fan of that guy. $18 though. $18. That's crazy. Shit, cray cray. That shit's cray cray. I do like those skins. Oh, I forgot that I've reset all the stuff. I do. I like that. I like that one. Pistols, RA-45. I need one of these sweet ones. Get the regulator, freezing point. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Gotta make it cool looking. Recluse is kind of cool. Dark Ocean. What is that? Water Riptide. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. I don't use the All-Star really. But I do have one that's like is it this one? Where is it? Is it this one? This one. The Crazy Unicorn. I like it just because. Oh, actually, I gotta switch to this one. That's okay. Triple take. I really like this one. I really like a dead one. Let's see, did anybody log on yet? No. Alright. Alrighty then. One ranked match. Say bunch more knockdowns with shotguns. 4 successful bamboozles. 1 kill with Gibraltar's ultimate. Zipline 10 teammates as Pathfinder. Let's do it. Make sure I'm muted. What's Opie doing? What's up, bud? You were just fine and sleeping your life away. You know what? I should get your. Oh, there we go. Stop. Stop.
I just polished my grapple.
I keep my squad mates insulated.
Listen, I've been training all day, so it's about time we do some fighting.
This is your champion.
Grimbo just logged on now.
I don't fear anything. Can you say the same? Trust me, we want to land over here.
Follow the leader.
And looks like he's going for it. Oh man, he's selling people? What? Are you kidding me?
There's another squad. I am down. Contact the hostile. Contact the target.
Oh my god, well, so many people. There's so many people out here. What are you doing, bro? You wanted to come here. Oh, who's got a poo?
Don't beat yourself up. Leave that to me. Real curious, that was a champion.
I think. Who's got a gross, Opie. That's gross. Hey, babe. I'll be right back because I think he's definitely got a potty. Hey, babe. Alright, can you put chips away or whatever? Sweet. Thank you. I just finished up a game. I'm letting Opie out to go to the bathroom. But I'll be ready. Come on, bud. Come on, Opie. Alright. Opie's still out there. Kim's out there with him. She's probably good. I don't know. Not what I wanted to put on. There we go. Random select. Party. Yo, 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 yo. Yeah,
Can you hear
I can hear
me?
you.
Yeah, you.
What's crapping? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I
Can
can
you hear
hear
me?
you.
Oh shit. You sound super low for some reason.
I don't know. Everything is the same. Any closer and the mic is like in my mouth.
Hello? Yeah, it's a lot louder. Oh man, playing this new game mode. I didn't see any of the cool new stuff yet, but I'm like so deep in the fucking storm, so I wanted to go to the vault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't make it to
Oh shit.
the next ring, so I didn't get to be respawned. We all died like instantly.
Oh yeah. Just jumped in a random wraith portal. Shit. How far do we have to go? Son of a bitch. Oh man. This is rough. Once I get over there, I have a Phoenix kit. But like our teammate didn't want to die in the storm. So he went like by himself.
No, this way.
Oh, and now I just got shot in the fucking back by the guy that I didn't fight because I don't have enough heals.
Back up. We're four up.
Here you go, Opie.
Oh, come on.
Alright. I'm gonna hop into another game while I wait. Alright.
God damn.
Sounds like Grim just died and I'm jumping into another game. That's how that works. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, man?
Oh, so you didn't live, so you don't know when you respawn, if it's when the ring stops or starts moving?
Nah, I didn't make it that far, so I have no idea.
Nothing wrong with looking good in the ring.
Oh shit. So, oh, come on, it's moving in 4 seconds. Everybody's dead. Get me up, teammate.
Heavy artillery.
Introducing your champion.
This is like a dream, but
Oh man, here's this freaking guy. What's up, Zero?
Yeah,
Not much. How y'all doing?
Living a dream.
dying in the fucking ring.
Oh yeah.
So what took you so long? What were you doing for 10 minutes?
I was
Yeah,
chowing
what
down
the
on
hell
too many
were
French
you
fries.
Ooh, French fries. I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah, I like some fries.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this game because. Oh, they didn't get my box, but I might just.
Yeah, you should
reappear, right?
reappear when the storm next circle.
Oh my god! What are you doing, you idiot? Oh my god, yo. You should have seen this shit. Oh my god. So our last teammate, the storm's just about to stop. He's, yeah, it's just about to stop. It's like 10 feet away from him. And he's gonna make it. It's close, but he's gonna make it. But instead, he stops and opens a bin and checks it 10 feet in the storm, so he fucking dies.
Are you kidding
like, for
me?
no reason.
Oh, what a dummy.
Like, he had it, but instead, he actually ran past the bin, went back to open the bin, and died with, you know, it was literally 10 feet away.
That is
Man,
Oh,
that is
bonkers.
hella lame.
You want to join us in this game, Joe?
Shit, yeah, I just started the game.
I can just play the next one.
Yeah,
if you want.
yeah. I'll just join the next one.
Yeah, we can
Up to you.
play it.
I'll join the next one.
No.
Oh shit, a third person mode is coming next.
Oh yeah.
Prowler SMG
And there's
here.
gonna be Kings Canyon After Dark.
Gotta hop up here.
One where the ring just never stops
Oh,
coming
you fucking
in.
kidding me?
Oh shit.
My team left me?
No, it was really the ring just doesn't stop coming in. You just have to keep ahead of it.
My fucking team left me. So I didn't leave the game because I didn't want to bail on them. And they fucking left me.
That's what happens when you're a nice guy, Joe. Well, if you want to leave right now, we're at the character select screen. So just
No,
send
no,
it.
no, it's alright. You don't bail on that guy.
We didn't even start yet, so if you want to play with us,
I'll catch the next game. It's alright.
but then if you're in another game after that.
I won't be.
You can't be
I'll make sure it doesn't happen.
feeling empathy for some fucking random Joe.
I got to,
Just
gotta
checking.
feel the empathy.
Randoms are the devil.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like saying you're pro Satan.
Right, yeah.
I had a religious conversation with
Monmouth is women are the devil.
somebody from work today.
Because you are pro Satan.
Well,
That's what
I
you're
mean,
saying?
I'm not anti-Satan.
I know you are. You don't have to. Yeah. I already know. I did sacrifice. for you.
Yeah.
I got this.
I mean, how do you think I got so good at Apex so quickly?
Right, right.
Bathing goat's blood and chewing on dead babies.
Damn, I can't find a gun.
God damn it, man.
God damn it, man. Put it in that mouth, bitches. Say, God damn it, man.
No,
Shit.
when you put it in the
I'm
mouth,
on
they
doc.
say, "Ro, ro, ro, ro."
I have to leave this.
No guns. No fucking guns anywhere.
I got a devotion for you. So I posted, my social post today was, instead of like me getting a couple kills trying to be all badass and cool, it was, I don't know if you remember the Zero Friday, I think it was. We were playing and there was like, I'm like, oh, I hear a thing. Oh shit, there's a thing right there. It was a loot thing. So I'm like, oh yeah. Then I'm aiming at it and I'm like, go gold, go gold, go gold, go gold. And then like you aim at it and shoot it while it's blue. And you're like, oh man, usually they're faster. I thought I would be on gold. So I shared that. And
Yeah.
I'm getting the likes immediately.
Yeah, I thought that thing stayed blue forever. Oh, cool. Yeah, I wonder if they changed the timing or if that was just my perception was changed because of Brandy.
That bitch Brandy.
Yeah. I've done that before. Started shooting it, you know, to make sure it goes down while it's gold, and then shot it while it's still blue. Definitely.
Yeah,
done that.
I felt like it was blue, and it took me a second to aim, you know, and I was like, bam, we'll get it on the goal. And like, I didn't know we were both aiming at it. That's pretty funny. Oh, shit. Oh, you guys ought to look on my Facebook page at this. Oh, hold up. I'm unreadying so Joe can join us.
Oh, that game's over? You guys are ready for next one? Oh shit.
Yeah, we couldn't find freaking
Okay,
guns.
1 second. I just came out the third party. Somebody right in their back. Oh my god, I missed the first half of the devotion clip. But I killed him because there's 100 rounds in it. So it all worked out.
Yeah, if you're in a good game, you
Nah,
know,
just
I
give me
don't
2
care.
seconds.
Start another one or
This
whatever.
dude just left. Let me pick up his energy ammo and his light ammo. Yeah, In fact, I don't even need these heals. I'm just gonna run into battle. I'm dead.
Alright.
Alright.
Oh, man.
You guys should look on my Facebook page at this post I made today. I shared from somebody. It's crazy as fuck. It's like a, it's a missile defense system that uses like minigun type guns, and it's during a missile attack. I don't know where it's at, but it's somewhere on land, and like you just see these fucking miniguns like, you know, spitting out these huge streams of bullets toward the sky. And then you see like fucking missiles getting shredded. Like you see missiles like suddenly blow up in midair and shit from where they're getting shredded by the bullets. Oh, it's crazy, dude. It's like some sci-fi shit. It's crazy as shit.
That sounds
And I was thinking to
pretty
myself,
awesome.
you know, like you're firing all these minigun rounds into the air, you know, just like on these ballistic trajectories where they fuck some shit
They're
up
gonna
when they
come
land.
down and like murder the whole town.
Right. But then like I looked up this system that it says it was, and like when they fire them on land, they have these fucking bullets that they're bullets with high explosive rounds, and they're tracers, you know, it puts out a fire trail behind them. And if like they miss the target, their tracer will run out before they hit the ground, and if they don't hit a target, they just blow up anyway in the air. So it's like it minimizes, you know, shit like, yeah, like when their tracer burns out, they just go boom anyway. But I was like, damn, that's crazy, dude. I didn't even know they had like missile defense systems that were fucking guns shooting bullets that are just like, you know, radar controlled or whatever.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
Pretty sweet. Makes me feel safer.
Yeah. Dude, it's like thousands and thousands of rounds too. I think they have these huge drums on them that hold all the bullets and shit. It's
I
crazy.
may be smiling, but that also means I'm happy. I feel good.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do the ship. Let's do the ship.
Okay.
The ship.
Party shit.
Ship.
But you could have killed my friends.
Oh, are we on the? Yeah, we're on the new mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Bon voyage, Mirage voyage.
Let's do it. Let's get the Bon, the voyage, and then.
I'm gonna land all the way right
Alright, I'm
here.
gonna go down.
Landing on the
with
bow.
sneaky shit.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
shit, somebody-
I'm really gonna hit like a top part
Oh,
of the
shit.
ship or something.
Oh, no guns
running,
for
I'm
me.
running.
Oh, there's somebody right there who has a gun.
I knocked somebody down. I shot him in the head.
I'm trying to reboard the ship, but
Oh
somebody.
my god, I
might-
got all these attachments. I need a
Oh, never
gun.
mind.
Oh,
Shit.
what the fuck? Right here. Somebody just shot.
Oh, charge rifle.
didn't
I
know
still
they
don't
were
have a
there.
gun. I don't have a gun either.
It's just you and me, friend. Let's not die.
All the fucking guns are gone. My goodness. Are you fucking joking? There we go. Fuck. A gun. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? Okay. I'm coming to you, Joe.
Alright.
Somebody's
Oh,
zipping
somebody's
up
getting somebody up.
somewhere.
Below us, I think.
Probably there's somebody I downed that jumped
Yeah, right
off.
here.
And, like, they'll be right there. Yeah, that's her. One, just punch her. She'll die. Yeah. With the
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Somebody's above us. Oh shit, I didn't mean to throw down a damn blue armor like a moron. Okay, you want to find a place to get the Grim Meister up?
No, he respawns when the circle comes in.
Oh,
I don't know
okay,
if we
okay.
can.
Oh, right. So you can't even. There are no
Right.
respawns then, I guess.
Oh. I guess that makes it more interesting.
Oh, here, follow me. I have shield cells for you.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Boom. There's that. I don't know if you could use that.
Hell yeah. No, thank you though.
Alright.
Oh, dude, we got a long way to go to the circle.
Oh yeah, really long way.
Death box here.
And go
Okay.
like basically to like train yard and
Alright.
past train yard.
I'll
Basically,
throw
Capital
a
City.
zip from this, from somewhere.
All right, wherever you.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, that's not as good as I thought. Whatever.
The ring is quite far. There is not much time left. Ready to fly on a zip
Probably should have ran to the
All good
tracks and then shot it from there, but oh well.
Oh, it's still a good one though. It's a long ass way.
I feel like that saves some time.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was a turbo grapple.
I thought you were trying to see how high you can go.
No, that was an honest attempt at being a real person.
Optics here. Close range. The ring's moving, friends.
Oh yeah, I guess we got to go through the tunnel. I was looting too though.
That'd be the fastest way. Yeah, the train
Okay.
tunnel.
Don't know whether to pick that up or not.
There you go. That was
Yeah,
better.
like that. Grab that, like that light post.
That was pretty good.
I'll hit these rock boxes if you want to hit the left
Yes,
one.
sir.
Incoming
I'm
care package.
picking up some heals.
Okay, yeah, I got some heals. I'm okay.
What are you, a cross-dresser?
Helmet here.
There's a helmet there for you if you're
Hey, here's a blue stock.
okay.
Okay. Oh, I was trying to throw out my non-existent zip line. I mean, grapple.
I don't think it worked.
All right, I got another zip line. Where do we want to zip to?
All right. Oh, hey, we'll be okay. There's also a zip line
Oh,
right
yeah.
up
You
here.
can use that zip
do
under the
that.
building. Yeah.
There's some weapons down there. There's a weapon up here.
What's happening? Did you see that? It like stopped, like
You tell me your real person again?
it like stopped letting me go
What
up
happened?
the thing.
SMG.
That was dumb. I was like zipping and jumping.
Oh, somebody's
Okay.
zipping over. I'm dropping down, Joe. There's one above you. I'm dropped to the
Okay.
first floor.
Oh, yeah, you see him? Oh, shit, there's someone down here
Oh
behind
shit,
you.
there's two of them. There's two of them too, damn. I guess I was getting double shot.
Oh, you got me from behind.
Yeah, we got
I think you would
screwed.
have had that guy.
I guess I should have shot him as he
Got
was
it
zipping it.
in the
Well,
back.
I didn't see him until he landed, but
It's a rough go. Rough go at it.
yeah, it was a bad match.
Yeah.
We can do better.
Hold on.
Oh, Joe, so you're not going? Why aren't you going to Disney with Kim?
Cause I got work and it would be way too expensive, and I don't really want to go hang out with her friends.
Well, it's only... So what was it? She said mainly Kate, Marquis, and the Asian kid or something?
I don't know.
And Nicole?
I don't know who's all going.
She named a few people, including Kate Marquis, Asian, Kev Ho or something, and Janina. I think she said Janina and somebody else, or maybe Janina and Kate, only for part of the time. Mostly the Asian kid, maybe another person, I forget.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Damn, Disney's fun,
Yeah,
man.
it's too much money though.
I do lie, but not this time.
How much is
Where are you
what's
going
the
to?
total? Couple grand?
Probably about $1,000. I don't know what the
Yeah.
plane tickets were,
This is your
but
champion.
Kim was just like doing the math. She had like $200. She's talking about tapping max. She's like, I should probably get another 3 because they're doing like drinking around the world or something at Disney or Epcot or whatever.
Oh,
But I think they're gonna do that like
that
every
sounds
day.
awesome.
I don't know. So she said it'd probably be about $100 a day she's gonna spend doing that shit. So that's $500 plus plane ticket there and back, plus whatever the accommodations cost, plus.
And Disney, you'd have to pay for the park.
Yeah, if they
too,
go
right?
to the park, yeah. Which I think they're doing rides and stuff one day. I don't really know.
Oh. 2x, 3x where I'm at on the bottom.
I'll take one of them. You can have the other if you want. 0. I don't really care.
Yeah, you take whichever you want. There's a select fire up here.
Yeah, I might be hearing people.
Oh,
That way.
there's 2 select. Okay.
I see somebody. Yeah, there's somebody right above me.
Oh, I'm coming.
He ghosted like a bitch.
Oh, that's just decoy.
Oh, I broke their shield rim. They got me. Oh, I'm getting. Oh no, I want.
No, that was me shooting
I don't
past
know.
you.
Good shit.
Where are they?
Oh,
Ping.
here's the other dead guy.
Down there, underneath.
Oh, I hear.
And there's somebody sniping.
Oh, they're sniping from that roof.
Yeah, there was
underneath?
somebody under here.
Oh yeah, there is. They're up here now. They're up here. This might be a different party. Where'd she go?
I'm behind her. Double team her.
Climbing up. Oh no, that's
She's
Joe.
underneath again.
All right, somebody else shooting me. All right, there's somebody behind us.
Yep, coming down the stairs.
Fuck, the havoc takes so long to wind up, man.
God.
Yeah. I guess that was 2 squads.
I don't know. I downed the Mirage, and then the Lifeline got downed, and then Robot came. Was there anybody else?
Oh well, maybe that
I
was
don't
just.
know.
Maybe that was just whoever was sniping from the roof over there.
I think Robot was the sniper because he came super late.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I wish I'd looked at that death recap because I died way too quick.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm reading this article. Woman's dismembered remains found inside plastic tub inside Philadelphia basement.
Yep.
Whoa.
I wonder where this was. Porter Street. Where's Porter?
South Philly, I think. I think.
South.
I think that's next to Bearview.
Yeah. What are you doing, Opie? Get out of there.
Bear.
You're not allowed. You smell like shit. Come on.
Oh, you shitting in the room again.
Like, I let him out so, like, this would stop.
So he'd stop smelling
Come on,
shit.
bro. Why are you smelling
For
like
real,
shit?
though. For real, though.
Jump master again. Oh, guess
Yeah.
where we're going?
Party boat, train yard.
Yeah, the party train yard. Yeah,
That's me.
All
I'm gonna hit that box. I pinged.
right.
Opie, get out. Get out, get out, get
I'm
out.
going for the one
Get
out.
out. You're not allowed under there.
All right, get your game face on. It's gonna be hectic.
Yeah, Opie's fucking me up already.
Shit.
There's a white vest in my box if you need it. Oh, somebody's punching me.
I got no gun. I got a vest.
I'm burning somebody. I'm down now.
Oh, no gun here. Oh shit, I'm getting shot at. I'm trying to get the
Alright.
fucking weapon.
I'm coming down
They're
around
gonna kill me?
you. I only have P2020.
Oh, no, they
I
ran away.
will
They ran
die
away.
Alright.
with the
I'm
P2020.
coming.
There's a scout right here.
Why'd they run away?
This way. Let's go.
If they're a bitch, then maybe I'll try shooting with a P2020. Oh, man, I'm getting shot at by like 3 people. Oh my god, get this real gun. It's another P2020. Come on, bro.
There you go. charge rifle up in that
Shit.
bin.
Enemy spotted.
Someone's climbing up right here.
All right. Oh yeah. Oh, I broke his shield.
Somebody's coming, Grim.
Oh, two guys.
Nice.
Yeah, kid. You
Nice.
just got murdered.
How we do?
I need to, oh, why can't I clip?
Them P2020 pea shooters.
Clip this.
All right, let me
was
get
sweet.
a vest or something before I.
All right. Yeah, I'm getting Joe up.
All right.
I'll take that guy's gold charge rifle.
There's a med kit in here. One of you guys need that shit, right? Oh shit, I need it too. I have 2 syringes. Well, you have that because I got a shield. Where's these other boxes at? There's
The gold one I just picked up. The only was a gold charge
Well,
rifle.
you already been in that one.
I only see one box.
Yeah, the
left.
gold.
People
The
died.
gold.
Oh,
There was a
over
gold
here.
box
Okay.
right here that disappeared.
I didn't see the color of the other one. I didn't even know where it was.
Yeah, gold box was a gold charge rifle.
There's energy down there. Some
Oh,
charge
shit,
rifle shit.
I'm
Oh,
healing.
you have
bitch.
health?
Yeah.
Drone. I forgot.
Come and get some of this.
Where are you?
Oh, sweet, okay.
Uh,
Oh, somebody's. No, that's you. Okay.
You need shield
I'm
cells?
climbing up. I didn't take that med
I
kit
did.
that
I took
marked,
it.
so. Oh, okay.
Here. You
Yeah, it's not gonna be.
can- Oh,
enough
you like
for all of
knocked
Alright.
it down the thing, so it's not healing anybody but you. Now it's healing me up. Yeah.
Oh.
Me? Oh, he did.
Oh, it's like in this little
Yeah.
freaking.
Yeah, it
box
went down
or
next to
whatever.
that box, so like it wasn't healing anybody.
The train's
Somebody's-
here.
Somebody's coming. Right
Oh
over here.
shit! Are they up here? Up top?
Oh, they were. They jumped back down, I think.
Sending out my decoy.
I think he booked it.
I see him. He's running away that
Alright.
way. I'm
Alright, I
gonna
only
try
got
to pop in my
pistols.
Scout. He's probably almost dead if he's running away, I'm assuming.
I hit him for a little.
Oh, there's somebody over here.
I'm coming.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, there's 2 people with snipers. Is this a trap?
I got a charge rifle.
It's a trap.
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm fucking dead.
Target's right in front of me.
Wait, that's not my charge rifle.
We just have snipers up over this side. Shit.
Broke this one's shield. Here's the other one.
I think that was a setup. Cause he
Yeah, I
popped
think
a couple
so.
shots, ran away until we were in the middle of an open field getting shot from 2 directions with sniper rifles.
Yeah.
You're the last one left, Joe.
Yeah, woo!
Good try.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there.
Care package being
Yeah, that was. Oh, what the say? Oh, that's kind of fucked up. I thought I was getting double shot, but apparently just one kid killed me. There were 2 people there, but
One just watched. Oh, cut it out.
yeah.
What do you want? You're hungry? Do you want to go to bed? What is it you want? Huh? Opie, what is it that you want, buddy?
I've seen it all. Nothing surprises me.
Perhaps a spritz of perfume.
Like to have a little fun. So what?
Cause they
That's
be
what Opie
smelling like
wants.
shit.
Yeah, man.
Spray his ass with it.
Yeah, he definitely stinks like some shit.
Stop me.
Don't you, Opie?
You gonna have parties while Kim's away? Like you have the house yourself, like the parents aren't home on vacation.
Nope.
He's just saying that because he's live on the stream.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We already got an underage kegger.
Yeah,
so.
man.
Do not trust what you think you know. 멍청한 짓을 하지 마.
This might be a good place to land, but what do I know?
All right, go
Follow
for it.
the leader. That's me. Or don't. Whatever.
Train
Follow
time. Oh, we got another squad with us.
I'm gonna go for the middle car.
I'm going for the
Oh, like made me
backity back.
fall off.
No. Shit, yeah. Coming at us.
Oh man, I have 0 health left. Oh god. Surprised I didn't die. So I had to jump off.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm down.
crawling off.
Oh, somebody's
I'm in the
shooting me
tunnel.
and the
I'm in
guy I'm
tunnel.
boxing.
You have bullets? Get that guy. He has a purple vest.
Say what? We're all inside this ring.
I downed one of those kids, but their buddy's still on there to get him up.
Oh my god, somebody's shooting at me.
Head thrown if you're needed.
That's me, bro.
Wow.
I told you. I want
Somebody's
the
in the
guy's
tunnel.
vest, though.
That's
Yeah.
the dude you were chasing. He's
Did he stop for you?
no. You just
I
ran
got
right
you.
by me.
I know. Ah, god damn. Someone's waiting for a real gun around there. I
There's somebody
wasted
with a
all
gun
the
just up
bullets
the
I had
tunnel.
trying to kill at Gibraltar. He has purple vest. I ran out of bullets.
Come on, grenade out.
I'm healing.
Seven shield, you'll be alright.
Well, I have no bullets. I just want to run out
Yeah, I
of
don't
tunnel,
even have a
right?
gun.
Guess I owe you dinner now.
I have a throw.
I don't have a gun
so I
or a
should do
vest.
that.
I don't have anything.
Alright, so
Oh, okay. Let's just back it up.
let's go back this way. Oh, there's people
Yeah.
over there. Motherfucker.
shit.
And they're all shooting at us.
Yeah, we're
Better get my
fucked.
decoy.
Yeah, there's a whole
Alright.
squad. They're here. They're chasing you. Fisticuffs. Oh, it's 2 squads. It's 2 fucking squads. There's 4 people. No, I'm wrong.
Bitch.
I'm wrong. That was.
Whoops, did you get fucked up on that one?
On my
Okay,
ball.
yeah.
Shield cells.
I need a gun.
Alright. Hopefully we can beat the shit out of the other people. Oh, there's bullets. There's no gun, but I got 20
Oh, he's here. He's here with a... I'm dead.
Ah.
Shit was rough.
Yeah. That got real rough. Yeah, got shot at the same time by 3 people to die.
Body shield here. Level 3.
Light sniper.
That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Opie, shut up.
So this drinking around the world event, is that just like where you go sample different world beers,
I think they
Or
go
whatever.
to
cocktails,
whatever
whatnot?
Epcot or Disney or whatever that has like the different like the thing that's like like the Eiffel Tower and like it's got like a Vegas neighborhood and it's got
Oh,
that.
okay.
I
Okay.
think it's that. I don't really know.
And you go drink at all
Yes,
these
I believe.
locations. Okay. Okay, that's.
Now you see me, now you don't. Now you see me, boom, you're dead.
The championship.
That is acceptable.
Is that okay with you, Zero?
Yeah, yeah. It's cool with me.
You gonna let Kim do it?
Your trip's approved.
Alright, cool.
Introducing your champion.
Have you prepared for your end? I have.
Why did what the fuck?
Got you.
Although Kate, Janina, and the Asian kid kind of sound like another Ghostbusters reboot.
You have
It
no
is.
idea.
It's really happening. They ain't afraid
Alright,
no
shit.
ghosts.
This might be a good
Right.
place to land.
This first left hanging Bennett shit.
I guess I'll go to this wall.
Oh, I fucking fell off.
Quiet
God
so
damn it.
far. I didn't hear any noise at all. Yeah. Woo.
Check it over there. Never mind, forget that. Cargo bot here. I've heard they carry.
Got it. I don't have a gun, so I can't shoot it.
I'm gonna Mozambique
Oh.
on fleek.
Spoke too soon.
Oh,
Yeah, where's it? I see it. Okay.
da-da-da.
Oh, good shot. Good shot.
On Gizzo.
Countdown.
We're already in the ring. Guess our running circles for fun.
What's gold? Oh, stabilizer. Oh, what is this? A gold triple take.
Forget I said anything.
Came out of it too.
Oh.
Who wants that? I don't want that shit.
I think the scope is a little too much zoom for me.
Barrel stabilizer here.
Yeah.
Level 1.
I think it's a 4. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I want to say it's
I
a 4
think
to
you're
10.
right.
Body shield here. Level 1. Barrel stabilizer here. Level 1.
Dibs.
I don't see the gold gun.
Gotta hop up here.
Oh, never mind. I'm taking
I
that.
see
I'm
like
taking
where
that.
the helmet is. I don't see the gun though.
New kill leader appointed.
What is, oh, it's on the side. Like leaning up against that
Oh, okay.
shit.
Body shield here. Both here. Level 3 here.
There we go.
Oh shit! No, I'll take that devotion. Got a purple barrel. Need like a laser beam. Sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
What's that from?
Austin Powers.
Something takes a man.
Alright. Alright, alright, alright.
Optics here.
Oh, I see a blue body armor over here.
Body shield here.
Oh, nice.
I'll take that 2x.
Light ammo here.
Dibs.
Woo! Flatline.
Oh
There's
yeah.
a 3 right here.
Range.
Oh, did you? Here's
Yeah,
energy
yeah,
ammo.
yeah,
Right,
I'll
energy
do
gun.
that.
Energy ammo
Here's a
here.
shitload more too.
Optics here.
And a 2x we were talking about. One
Oh,
more.
yeah.
Heavy ammo here.
Yeah, I could use 1 or 2
Oh,
boxes
where's
of that
the heavy?
energy if you got it
Yeah.
to spare.
Some of
I
that
got
shit.
that to spare.
There's more energy in that bin
Bin
here.
over here.
Oh
I
sweet.
could definitely use that.
Level 2.
And you just dropped the scout too.
G7 scout here.
Yes. You can have that if you want.
No,
Where was that heavy
in
ammo?
that in that car.
In that bin?
No, it was right here.
In the car?
Zero must have grabbed it.
No, I didn't. It was still up there. I do have some though. Oh no, actually. Hey, yeah, I'm
Maybe
going
it
to
was this
drop
car,
this prowler with a select fire for the scout.
No, yeah. There's definitely one of these cars.
I actually found a flat one. That one's
Alright.
probably gone.
If you want that
Oh,
prowler,
well.
Joe, it's right where I marked there.
No, I dropped
An 80 heavy rounds.
all. Oh, okay. So here you go. There's heavy.
Compadres. Heavy ammo here.
I dropped
Uh,
my heavy ammo.
So you know, I just thought of a good strategy might be, since we get brought back in, to just go ham, and it doesn't matter if we die because we'll
Here you
get
go,
brought
Graham.
back right before the next ring comes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Heavy ammo here.
But one of us has to live until the next ring.
Yeah.
is-
Yeah, as long as we don't all die. I mean, I'm saying if there's like 20
Yeah, but
seconds
yeah, it makes
respawn,
sense.
as long as
Oh
one
shit,
of us is
enemy,
still
enemy
alive.
at the fucking
Enemy at the
tracks
gates.
over
Enemy
here.
at the gates.
Yeah, I thought I heard some shit. Drop top or underneath?
Underneath on the, I mean up top on the tracks. But he's behind that shit. No, there he is, behind that.
Just ran that way.
Enemy real close. About time we got ourselves a fight.
Somebody just
This is those same motherfuckers luring us out. I'm gonna be pissed.
care package just fell.
Oh, care package just dropped. Ooh, digital threat. Who needs
I
that?
could use it.
I don't know where that kid went.
Big health kit. I got it. I grabbed it. I'll give it to you. If you need it. I don't have anything that can use it.
All right.
There's magic going on down there. You want to go
Yeah,
check
yeah.
that shit out?
Oh, down the hill.
Here. Close range.
Yeah,
Bad guy over there.
like that. That
Yeah,
general
I see
direction.
them.
Up, actually, up on the tracks. I see somebody right there.
Out there.
Okay.
I could use optics. That would make.
Yeah, me too. Hey, we
Come on,
gotta turn
shoot
back.
him.
The circles.
Are you the
we're
one
way
shooting?
out
That
of
was
the
One
me
of you
shooting a
guys
triple
shooting?
take at that guy.
Dude, Grim, come back.
The circle's
circle's
coming.
about to. Yeah, and we're running out of it.
Alright, open this bin. I can find some sort of 1x site. Would make my day.
I think there's shit going on the other side of the mountain. Like if we go through the vault tunnel.
I think I hear somebody up here.
Okay.
I'm hitting this other bin. Ah, yeah, use site. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, bro.
I don't see anybody on the tracks. Yeah, there's somebody right there.
Okay.
Yep.
On the bottom?
Yeah, down
Just
low.
broke the shield.
I hit him one more shot after you broke him. For 32.
Let him crawl to safety. He's got a self thing.
He has the
Right,
gold
so
knockout.
he'll either have to get himself up and okay, he's got himself up. Let's kill him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has gold knockout.
Well, I was hoping he would.
Gonna
I
do in
was hoping he
safety.
would crawl to where he was safe.
Oh, he died.
Yeah,
He
I
just blocked.
killed him
Oh,
because he was getting himself up.
Oh, I hear somebody on the tracks, dude.
Oh shit! All right,
Broke
I'm
their
coming.
shield.
You can grab everything else, Grim. I'm going now.
Jumped off over here. Jumped off over. It's a Wraith, and she just went into Wraith
Okay.
mode.
Somebody's up top, I think. Maybe not.
Patch myself up.
She ran away somewhere over here.
so there's a Wraith, but we lost her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hear footsteps right there.
I hear somebody over here.
Let's do this. Heads up. We're not alone.
Oh. Where's she
Yep.
behind that
She just
truck?
went into Wraith mode.
Bad guys.
No, there's.
She's gone back over there.
Close. Rings nearby.
We'll hunt her down. Oh, she's over there.
The new kill target's right in front of me.
I hope this isn't another fucking ambush.
Go bamboozle.
Right.
Yeah, she's gone. I'm coming.
Seems too familiar.
Yeah, but I mean, we do have to go this way anyway, so.
Yeah, she hooked to the left when she got out of sight. The last thing I saw her do was hook left.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, this thing's got a vault key on it.
I don't see her.
Adios,
Okay.
Hola, I hear loot.
I don't know if there's any vaults still in play, but
I think I'm hearing people. Not 100% sure.
Okay, I'm with you.
Lucky us. We are already inside the ring.
I think I do hear somebody. Unless that was just Joe running over there.
there's a U site.
Yeah, I can use that.
Delivering care
Yeah,
package.
that's what I meant.
Definitely.
There's 40 heavy ammos.
Heavy ammo here. Got a vault key. This should come in
I can only use
Alright,
like
there's no
couple
vault in
bullets,
play,
I'm
so I'm
good.
dropping this shit.
Oh, their teammates are probably gonna spawn on them if that Wraith is over here and the teammates are still in here.
I wonder if
Yeah,
they drop
right,
from the
right.
sky or if they just appear.
It says spawn on their teammates, so.
Okay.
Oh, purple vest, purple
Oh yeah,
vest over
I'm
there.
getting shot at. I don't know where from up on the hill maybe somewhere.
Oh, yep, definitely up on the
I
hill.
can see 'em.
Here's a.
Mark them if you see them.
They're up there somewhere.
See someone out there?
There's 2 of them I see.
Okay.
They're still
Yeah.
up on the hill.
Looks like they're running away. There's a heavy mag.
Standard stock here. Extended heavy mag here. Level 2.
I got a purple one.
Oh, and also here, I'm not gonna need this. I'm gonna stick with my guns. If somebody needs a purple barrel stabilizer.
Level 3.
Yeah.
Use
I'll
a
take
light
it.
mag. Probably really kind of need. I have this 301 with a gold stabilizer, but nothing.
Oh,
No
guys,
light mag on
let's not chase them. We need to get toward the circle. Or maybe we are
So you
chasing
want to go
them, but yeah.
left?
I don't know, whichever way you guys want to go.
We can go this way.
All right, yeah, that'll be kind of strategic.
Strategery.
Strategery.
You got bamboozled.
Strategeriest. That's gonna kick, man. Yeah.
Opie, shut your pie hole.
Great. The ring is close. Less than a minute. You got bamboozled.
Longbow here. Heavy ammo here.
Ooh, man. I find everything. U sight, blue light mag, Bernie sticks. It's my lucky day in this
yeah.
bitch. There's 4 syringes if anybody wants them.
Hemlock here.
Shield cell here.
Opie, what are you chewing? Why you always gotta like be a turbo dog?
We're already in the ring.
Somebody's right there.
Okay.
Package, sweet.
Yeah, he jumped off. To the left.
Behind the
before you
wall,
marked.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him
behind
jump
the wall,
off.
yeah.
He's still behind that wall. Wanna
Yeah,
creep on him?
let's get the creeping going.
Oh, okay. Be wary of that third party shit. There's 4 other squads and it's getting mighty
Yeah.
small.
Blue bag. Anybody need that?
I've already got one apparently.
Are you fucking throwing up this shit that you're fucking eating now, dog?
I see somebody in there. In the window of that building. Oh, they
Oh, okay, okay.
Barrel stabilizer here.
There's a care package right there.
Oh, yeah, they're
That's
going
where
for it.
Rafe went.
And they're shooting at me.
Opening fire on the enemy. Shot fired, and they're hitting me. Throwing grenade out.
I popped that Wraith for about 90.
Reloading.
Alright, I gotta heal
Yeah, I hit her
that.
for
There's a
over
Gibraltar sniping.
Got bamboozled. Look at you.
Got the Wraith.
Alright, I'm coming with you, Zero.
Hey, yeah, there's one. There's a Gibraltar in here. Gibraltar in here.
I lost my whole shield. I need to go in.
Oh, Gibraltar! I broke the Gibraltar shield. He's
Alright,
hurting
I'm
real
coming.
bad, guys.
Come.
Right here.
He's up those stairs.
He just shielded up. Alright, his teammate's probably gonna be coming.
I'm going up a level to pop a Phoenix. I'm fucked
They're
up.
getting somebody up.
Oh, they're getting somebody up.
I'm trying.
First floor, probably. Back here.
Yeah. Yeah, that
There
popped
it
them all.
is.
I need to get
I
revived when
got
you
you,
get
bro.
here.
I got you.
Thank you.
I'm standing still. You're lucky I like you.
L to the is.
Your help is very helpful.
Heavy rounds. Oh, another
I need
flatline. Something for daddy.
There's a purple vest in
actually,
here.
Taking my devotion back. It's too damn
What was
sweet.
the thing I need? Oh, big shield cells. Anybody have big shield cells? Or burn sticks?
I don't.
have no burning sticks. There's another box in here, right?
Barrel stabilizer here. Level 3.
Here's big shield cell. There's a Phoenix kit.
I got one Phoenix. Oh, and one burning stick. Alright.
I am repairing myself.
Joe, there's a Phoenix kit on the inside purple box.
Okay.
2 other squads, guys.
Inside the ring.
Alright. The bitch squads are left.
Yeah.
Alright.
Bitch
I'm gonna
ass
start
hottie
peeping
squads.
around.
Doing their hottie shit.
Setting up my decoy.
OP, cut it out. Get out of the fucking trash.
We know where we're at because we were loud as fuck in them fights.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That means that the bitches.
Come on, OP. Stop going under the desk, dog.
You got bamboozled.
Charging up my shields.
Pretty small fucking circle. Yeah, there's 2. Ah, I see somebody.
Yep.
Alright.
Oh, where
one
at?
squad's there, and the other squad's shooting at him from over there or some shit.
Okay.
And this
the
building
second-
here, there's 2 on the roof. There was 1 on the ground.
There's 2
guys,
over there.
The second one you mark, Grim, we need to move toward it. We need to move toward it because that's where the next circle's at.
Charging shields. Recharging shields.
We got a minute. Yeah, I mean, we could do that.
Let's move that way.
Oh, they, yeah, they
they're
just pushed them.
zipping
They
over
just
to
they're
pushed them.
zipping.
Let's push.
Yeah.
Well, we
yeah.
could do
Yeah,
some
let's
third
push.
party
Yep,
action
yep,
right
yep,
now.
yep, yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is in the circle.
I'm throwing a trampoline.
Frag out. Frag out. Frag out.
Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. I got one up and down. Yep.
Where's your shield?
One kid
Oh,
left.
hold on. Where are you at?
I'm on the
Where are
3rd
you?
floor.
Where are you?
3rd floor.
I just jumped off the roof, so I thought you were on the ground.
I think there's only
They're right
one.
up
Alright,
here.
I'm healing up real quick.
I don't know where they are. Oh, 1 floor above.
Oh, I
me.
hear him. I think I hear him on the stairs.
We're already inside this next ring.
Maybe
Oh, they're
not.
on this roof
Maybe not.
probably.
I've been up here and don't.
What?
Hey, I'm crawling inside.
I'm standing still. You're lucky. I like it.
Oh, I hear a
the fuck
door
are
open.
they?
I hear a door open. A door just opened. They're probably coming up.
Giving my shields a recharge.
Oh,
Maybe they
they're
were
going to get
below
their
us.
goddamn.
Oh, yeah, their squad's gonna
respawn, dude.
respawn.
Their squad's going to
Forgot
respawn.
I found
Nice.
Yeah! Hell yeah! I guess
Y'all
it
fit?
didn't quite respawn. Yeah!
her. What you get for being a
shit.
hoe?
That's right.
Take that.
You are the Apex champions.
Yo, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
What?
Shit, dude, just drop a load.
Showing a fucking extension cord. Like, what is the matter with you?
It's like,
Damn.
Jesus Christ.
Well, all 3 of us were within 12 damage of each other.
no, that's crazy.
Pretty-
Yeah, we were.
Pretty
That's called
close
Nice.
across the board.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how you. Whole team
And we
pulling
got
the
that
weight.
dub. So you get the
Oh,
every
yeah.
day there's or every challenge or game mode. Every game mode there's a challenge for coming in first. So we all got that.
Oh, nice.
Now we just
Yeah,
need
hey.
to skydive 10,000 meters.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna take a smoke break and go to the bathroom. So I'll
Yeah, I
drop
gotta
out
see you.
so
I'll be
guys
right
Good.
play.
I'm gonna go
Okay,
kill
I'll
you.
be
I'll be right back. Alright.
Okay.
All right.
Alright. See you soon. Stay, bud. Okay. chips. Drop me chips. I'm gonna put open your room. So I went to see where Chips is, and as soon as Chips saw me, he wanted to get off the couch. Come on, Opie. Come on in here. In here. There you go. Alright, I'm back. Is anybody back? Alright, I guess not. Guess nobody's back. I guess I'm just a little punk ass little bitch. He's
I'm back.
He's a back.
that's hilarious. LP chewing on an
Like, you're
extension
so
cord.
dumb.
You see like your fucking lights dim.
Come on, bud.
Smell hot dogs.
Yeah, shit is insane.
The ring is one hell of a beast.
We will slaughter our enemies.
We've got Laney with us.
I got the need for speed. Come on, friend. Time to win.
This is your champion.
Oh shit. Where are we going? Let's try Skyhook. We haven't been there in a long time.
Sounds good to me.
I say we land here. Copy that. Here we go. It's a long drop. Fun.
Alright, we got this.
Yeah. Victory number 2.
Oh, people are shooting shit around us. Not
You got a
yet.
gun?
I got an alternator and a peacekeeper.
Here's a.
I'm good.
All right.
Gotta hop up here. Optics here. Sniper.
I'll take that. I can use a choke.
Oh, here's a blue
Actually, I'll
bolt.
take that for
Hop
there.
up here. Turbocharger here.
Oh yeah.
Might be something good this time. Got a hop up here. Select fire.
Do you want to move toward
Yeah,
this
he's
kid,
not
or what
coming
you want
towards
to
us,
do?
so we might as well.
Yeah, I guess that finished that was close to us there.
New kill leader. Huh. Not for long, pal. Ultimate accelerant here.
Close range.
Shit, I could use
Save that for
those.
me.
I could use a dose.
I'm running to this little building.
Alrighty. Oh my god, I hope he's not bitching. He went to get out of here, want to eat everything. So I put him in the room with his dish. Then I heard him eating, so he was hungry. But now he's fucking bitching to get out of there. Like, come on, Dobie Opie. Actually, I'm gonna take this scout and drop this peacekeeper.
Peacekeeper here.
Standard stock here. Level 2.
Shake a leg. We
Ready?
only got a minute. Shotgun bolt here. Level 2.
Devotion here. Close range. Careful. New kill leader. Optics here.
Is that a 2x?
45 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there's another threat site.
Let's explore this way.
Oh, I hear
I'll
Safety is an ammo shop.
enemies.
carry it because I can't leave it.
Grapple.
I'm running. I'm running.
Alright, I was just coming to protect you, bro.
Oh yeah.
Might be something good this way.
That
I picked it
2x. I think I dropped it upstairs. Okay.
Tower here.
Where you at, bro? Who's fucking with my boy?
I guess we should go to the jump tower. Oh shit! Behind me.
Nice.
Got him.
Nice. Oh, look at that. It's red.
Yeah. You know, it did that the other
Oh, it's
night.
a vault key. It used to not do that, though.
Oh.
Somebody's coming?
No, I don't think so. Somebody. Yep. I'm just chilling till they run in, then I'm gonna bust.
Okay.
Oh shit! They're attacking him.
Reloaded. I downed the hostile.
Dude, we couldn't fucking see you until you popped your shield up, bro. Oh, his teammate's shooting at me.
Where they at? I see. I see.
I think they're
Where'd
in the
they go?
building.
Oh, okay.
Repairing myself. Recharging my shields.
Shit.
Battling the enemy.
I hit him several times.
Scanning the area. Contact.
Yeah, kid.
Well, well done. Okay.
Optic energy ammo here. Amigos, let's go here.
Here, I'm gonna drop a.
Anybody need energy ammo?
Well, never mind. I'll do it in a minute. I'll do it in a minute.
I am repairing myself.
Oh, we gotta hit that balloon.
Oh shit, okay.
There's a jump tower here.
Ooh, that's gonna kick.
Yeah, where he just marked.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Hell yeah. And then I'll. Oh well, we can go to the next jump tower, I guess. Oh, never mind. We're almost in the circle now. I'm gonna give this kid a oh, he's got health. Okay, okay.
Using this. Come on, come on, come on. Repair it.
I don't know how I didn't get any kills at all that.
Recharging shields.
I feel like I was putting in some work.
Oh, you were, yeah. Just the way the cookie crumble.
Man, fuck those cookies.
Fucking cookies. Plenty of shotgun shells. Do you want to go with this? I don't know where that kid's going. Oh, he's opening those.
Oh, he might be going for that vault. Did you pick up that vault key?
No. Here, I'll send us a zip in that direction.
What's up, babe?
Oh, shit.
Whatever. You can come with me. Or you can go to bed. Nope, you can come out. I don't care.
Oh, there we go.
Optics here. Sniper.
Ooh. Do I forego the 2x for that?
1 more minute, amigo. Rings right there.
I was enjoying it on the
So close.
Might be
triple
something good
take.
this way. Havoc here.
Optics here. Close range. 45 seconds till ring close, amigos. Don't need any carry.
I guess we should go through the vault tunnel. I think that's the closest to this circle.
Yeah, I agree. I concur.
Might be something good this way.
What's he trying to do? Oh, he probably just accidentally marked it.
Be aware of the new kill leader.
Vault's open.
Okay. I think they're shooting on the other side of the...
Grim
What up,
stuff?
Grimbo?
Going on.
We're almost... We're close to the end of this game, I think. There's only 6 other squads.
Cool. Guys got some kills?
No, I thought I was.
Yeah,
But
we're
I'm
doing
not.
some...
Oh, shit.
He's part of the kills, though. Oh, purple armor!
Felt like it.
Into our safe space.
A champion has fallen.
Gotta hop up here. Turbocharger.
Shit. Shit.
Extended heavy mag
Oops.
here. Level 2.
Giving my shields a recharge.
Yo, we should def check out that care
They're
package.
shooting over here.
I'm still looking in these freaking
Alright.
crates.
Still here.
I'm coming.
I don't see anything. Oh, I see explosions. I don't see people.
Alright. Behind every explosion is a people.
Yep.
Watch out for the new kill leader.
What's up, babe?
Were one of you guys champions in the game you
No, I
played?
don't think so. Yeah, I'll fix it.
Oh, I didn't even notice. We're on regular mode.
Oh, you're on regular mode? Well, you'd still be champion, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think we were. We didn't have a whole lot of, like... points.
I was champion in mine.
Finally got a knockdown.
You didn't have any kills?
This game, no. Putting all this work in and finally actually got a knockdown.
2 other squads remain.
Oh, I hear somebody ride
Yeah.
around us.
Contact with hostile.
Yeah, get it, bitch. Get some. Oh, all right, right behind me, right behind you. Oh, they put me out quick.
Fuck, I can't see anything because of the...
Dude, if you get out of there, you might get...
Fuck!
Did you see anybody get brought back
Good
yet?
try. Good
On your
try.
team?
We're in regular mode.
Oh, right. guys all dead?
Yeah. It was satisfying, though, taking out that fucking fast legs that ran around the corner on me like a Billy Badass. He got the flat line. Tasted the
That
flat
line
line.
make your heart stop. You can send me an invite.
That's right.
All right. Invite sent though.
Stop freaking out, Sam. Okay, buddy.
It's fucking welding mask, man, outside your window. Oh, that's a crazy skin there, Joe.
Chinaman mask.
Yeah, yeah.
China man.
Come on, friend. Time to win.
Did you get
Nah,
that?
I've had that.
Have you had it?
That's what I keep telling myself.
Not one of my favorites. I'm not a big fan of it.
It's different though.
Yeah, different it is.
I just got my Mirage skin like a couple days ago from the first event. Fancy schmancy. That's what it's called. Fancy schmancy.
There's a
Maybe we
thin
land
line
here.
between
Or
life
maybe
and
we
death.
don't. I'm fine with whatever.
Finding
Copy
death.
that.
Ah, this is the best part. All right, look at this. Look at this.
Oh, we didn't switch it back to the new game
Oh,
mode
it's still in regular?
for next time.
Oh,
Oh, you landed me in lava. Can I even get out of here?
okay. Sorry, dude. I
I'm
noticed
getting
when I was
attacked.
landing that you were a little bit behind me.
There's an enemy over here with no gun, and there's another one with a gun, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, somebody's on the
I
bridge.
got a good gun now. Not a cool one.
Still no fucking gun.
Somebody's by us, I think. I hear somebody.
Yeah, right here, right here.
There's guns in here. There's guns in here.
Bitch, I'll punch the shit out of you.
Firing. Oh, some faking him out with a decoy.
Over there.
Shot fired.
Havoc rifle here.
Me.
I got
There's
nothing.
guns in
got
here,
over
guns in
here
here.
too.
There's havoc
Okay.
rifles, energy bullets.
I'm healing.
Sniper stock here.
Somebody's right around us.
Yeah, that's probably the third guy from the bitch squad.
Yep, inside here. Yeah.
New kill leader. Soon to be me.
We killed the last member. Gotta hop up here. Turbocharger. Repairing my damages.
Let's put a scout in there.
Yeah, you want
Nah,
that? Take it,
Dad,
Joe.
I
If
got
not, I'll
neither.
take it.
Repairing.
Look at all this energy
you.
ammo around. Actually, was that a turbocharger?
What kind
Was
of
that a
ammo you need?
turbocharger in this box?
Yep.
Gotta hop up here.
Yeah, I'll take that shit. Yeah.
There's a double tap in here and a havoc and some energy.
I'm dropping that Eva and my shotgun
And
bullet.
let's
Good
see.
at picking up.
I have two
There's a
syringes.
devotion
You need
if
one,
you
Joe?
want
Need a syringe?
Syringe here.
Or
You
zero?
want that turbocharger?
And then where's the third box? Two people died. Oh, over
There's
here
a
is one.
purple box over here.
There's a vest in here, Zero.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
There's a purple box over
Where?
here.
Up here.
Oh, over there. Yes, the double tap.
Let's be honest. I'm the only real champion.
Yeah, see, sometimes I'm real good with the scout.
Down shield here.
Other times I'm not.
Giving my shields
Phoenix
a
kit
recharge.
here.
Yeah, I feel that.
Knockdown shield in the Phoenix kit.
Alright, I tell you, Joe. I had this one. You know I'm terrible with the fucking Mozambique.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Rings close.
Well, I dropped in, and that's all I found.
Level 1.
And I was able to. I killed a whole squad with the Mozambique.
Save that for me.
The first of them being the champion from the last game. So the champion and teammate killed all with the Mozambique. I was like, oh,
Oh,
shit.
nice.
I mean, I'm happy if I kill one person. I killed all three. It was just like, working.
Hey, Joe, pick up this hemlock a second and check that skin out. That's my custom shit.
Ooh, fancy.
Oh, the Yeti
he's
in the
giving you
spinal.
pimp
I just
shit.
thought it was kind of funny.
He's giving you the pimp shit.
Yeah, I don't have a charm on mine, but this is my custom John.
Oh, are you carrying your custom one?
The ring is fairly
Yeah, if you
close.
pick up, are you here?
Standard stock here.
Yeah, if you pick that
Yeah, I'm
up,
back.
that's right here.
Where that? Spitfire? Oh, that. Okay.
Stabilizer here. Level 1.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. I don't think I have that skin. That's pretty key.
Yeah, I got that out of a box. I was excited and happy for it.
Yeah, it's a good looking.
Yeah, it's legendary. I don't have many legendaries.
Yeah, me neither. Man, I bought a little 3-pack of honeys, and they're kind of tasting like a honey.
Backpack here. Gotta hop up here. Turbocharger.
Purple bag, turbo.
Not in a good way.
When does the honey hole taste good in a good way?
Yeah, you know, to be honest, never.
If they're showered.
I prefer syrup.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Prefer syrup to butthole taste.
No,
Pretty
the
much the same
freaking Chris
thing.
Rock, where he's like, tossing a salad is where you eat somebody's ass with jelly or syrup. I prefer syrup. That's a poor Chris Rock impersonation, but
I thought it was that you were playing a Chris Rock clip. Alright, there's one of them things over there.
Oh, never mind. It's just a cargo bot over there.
This doesn't look looted. At least there's one unopened bin.
2 unopened bins.
3 unopened
Mad
bins.
bin action.
Oh, shit. And there's a blanket with stuff on it.
Level 2.
Barrel stabilizer. Prowler SMG here.
R301 here.
Yeah, I got me a prowler with a Sutto Fire-O.
Extended heavy mag here. Optics here. Close range.
Nothing cool. But
Flatline here.
that is cool.
Yeah, I thought you might like that.
But, yeah, I think I might stick with the prowler select. I haven't been using it lately.
Oh yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
flat
It's
line
good to stay in practice.
kick.
Extended heavy
Yeah.
mag here. Level 2.
I'm gonna take their
Both
2x
excellent.
sight,
Both excellent guns.
but I don't really care for anything else. There's another flying McFlyerson bin. Looks like it's got a vault. I could be wrong. Nah, no vault key.
I am repairing myself.
Oh, okay.
Shot it on blue like a true champion. Give me a big
Blues how
big
champs
shield
do.
cell, though.
That's right.
I ain't mad at it.
Mag here. Level 1. Shotgun bolt here. Knockdown shield here. Level 1.
Whoa.
Stabilizer here. Level 2.
And a white one.
Light ammo here.
Level 1.
I could use that blue stablers.
Knockdown shield here.
Blue knockdown shield, blue
Nice.
bag if anybody needs it.
Stabilization.
Double tap blue bag. Anybody interested?
No.
I'll snatch up the shield.
Oh, I hear shooting.
Shit going down there.
Yeah, you want
Yeah,
to
I'm
take
flying to it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're ballooning? Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I
yeah.
forgot.
Where's
I
it
don't know.
at?
I'm gonna try to
don't see
land
it
in the
yet.
tower.
Come on, bamboozle 'em.
I just heard us in that general direction, like down
I
there.
landed in the tower.
Now I'm hearing shit over there. I can actually see people over there. You want to go there? Well, you already flew.
They're over there. They're in that like breaking the rock.
Way out there, like little cucarachas.
Oh yeah, I can see.
Okay, I can see those
Yeah.
people there too.
Want to go push them?
They're right by the
The ones you just
steps.
pinged?
Yeah,
People-
whichever direction. Yeah, you're that way. Let's go that way.
Cucarachas.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's already right here.
yeah, coming down off that hill. Come.
Throw an arc star.
Broke somebody's shield.
I knocked one.
Charging on my shield.
You shouldn't get your buddy up, buddy.
Oh yeah, they're getting somebody up.
Focus his shield again.
One down.
I don't know. I didn't fucking die there.
Down.
There's only one
There's
left.
only one
then,
kid
kid.
left.
Yeah. Fixing my face real quick.
Nice.
Yeah, there they
Got
go.
him.
Yeah, some of that three-way teamwork shit. Some of that synergistic shit.
I think somebody sending the crypto drone out. Use sights
Okay.
and heavy ammo is all I really need.
Oh, there's heavy in here.
Bernie sticks.
60
R99
rounds.
here. She's
No use
fast like
sights.
Uh,
Here, yeah. I got a
Also,
use side. I can give you a
there's
use side.
heals.
Use side right there.
close range.
Oh, here's some heavy, bro. There's 80 rounds, 83 rounds of heavy.
I'm good on heavy now. Yeah, transfer them in there.
All right.
Oh, you put
You need some, Joe?
Yeah, I'm picking up this heavy.
I swapped out for 1 to 2, so.
Recharging shield. Heavy ammo here.
No, I'm not. I
Oh,
picked it
Phoenix
up out of
kits?
that box.
Yeah,
I'm
I
good.
could use that.
Thank you, though. Yeah, I got 220 now. I'm good.
There's
There's
just
another
boxes?
box
There
up
should be 3
here.
boxes, right? Oh, up top.
Optics here.
Oh shit.
Phoenix kit here.
Shield
Well,
battery,
purple
I don't know
lot
if I have
mag.
one of them. Yeah, I can use
And a
that.
Phoenix kit.
Phoenix kit, I got 1.
Extended light mag here. Level 2.
Yeah, go for it,
No, I
Joe.
got one. I got one as well.
throwables. Is none
So-
left.
I thought I heard somebody moving on, so that's...
Oh,
they're right
somebody
here.
just shot a thing from right here.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Blue shields.
Shit. Oh, they're fighting another squad.
Enemy down.
Careful, guys. They were fighting another squad up here.
Yeah, I see.
Shit's still going down over
Let's
here.
fucking wreck them, bro.
Let's go.
Let's fucking wreck them.
Got one.
Where's the other one? I don't see him. Oh, over
I'm
here.
not sure.
Enemy down.
Nice.
We killed the last member. Good work, team.
Don't slow down now. Only 2 other squads.
Oh, okay. There
two
might be another
squads left.
squad right over the hill.
That's cool.
Oh, was that 2 squads? I don't know.
Shotgun bolt here. Body shield here.
Well, it just
I mean, I
said
know.
there's only 2 squads left.
Oh, yeah, okay, okay.
I'm
Well, yeah, but I
talking
mean,
about-
they were fighting somebody on the hill when we came up and busted
Oh.
their ass, so...
Oh, I had to shoot one of them to death. Like, I think it was
Oh,
around the
okay.
last one.
Shield cell here. Extended
Yeah, I don't
So I
know.
don't know.
Gotta help. Backpack. No. Mira. Body shield here.
Yeah,
Level 3.
I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it.
Flatline here. Seconds until the ring closes. You like
All right.
doing it.
Oh,
Why
30
haven't I got a
seconds. Yeah,
sight
we
for
should
this
start
flat
moving in.
line? Alright, there we go.
There's a 1 to 2 in one of those boxes I just put in there.
Where is the... We gotta... Hey, we should
Yeah,
go
we
back
gotta
to where
go,
we came, maybe.
This way.
Oh, okay, okay.
Well,
Whatever, either way.
this way might be a little sneakier. But people also might be coming from out this way.
True.
Oh, there's boxes over here. No, that's boxes we already looted. Okay.
Yeah, this is our graveyard that we created. Yo, all of that, and I got 1 kill.
Incoming care package. I love loot.
Yeah.
Really?
But you contributed so
mean-
much.
Yeah.
Using grapple.
Tell
very
that
true.
to my
How many kills you got, Zero?
statistics.
3.
3. So we got 3 squads down.
Whoa, you got 5 kills?
5. Somebody right here.
Enemy spotted.
Nice.
Zipping.
It looks small.
Zipping to the left. You
Yeah, I
see him?
see the thing shaking.
You want to just fucking
did
follow
not.
him? You don't just want to go crazy and
Oh, I see you
zip
now.
and follow him up there?
Sure.
Uh,
I don't know any throwables.
Neither
kick it
do
off. I really doubt they'll think anybody's following them.
hold up, Grim, not yet. Oh, well.
Alright, well, I'm here.
I just was
I hear
behind
them.
you is
They're
all.
coming up from underneath.
Alright.
Did 50 onto that robot. Oh, I fell down. I'm up.
Who the fuck are they? Got another.
What's up here? Oh, they're here.
There's another.
Fuck. I don't get the leg shot on that.
One more dude. Shit. He's running down the
Here's
stairs.
the robot. He went down the steps.
I broke the shield.
His shield's broken, I think. He jumped down.
went
He jumped
down.
down.
Got him. Got the knock.
Yeah.
Get him?
Oh, that's another
Yeah.
squad, bro. Or no, he's got a gold shield. Okay. Murder music.
Last guys are kinda...
On the roof.
Recharging shields.
That was good shit.
Level 4 backpack.
Yeah, I didn't mean to
Nice.
ping that. I meant to ping the knockdown shield. Oh, we're
Somebody's
being
doing a
EMP'd.
fucking gay thing on
Oh
me.
yeah, hey, just go to the roof.
Receiving damage.
Somebody's zipping, maybe.
Recharging shields.
Charging shields. Come on.
Yeah,
Are
I'm
we
up
all
here.
on the roof? Okay.
Recharging
Okay.
shields. She got bamboozled.
There's a gold knockdown in the
Oh,
one
it's
that
only one other squad.
box down there.
You got
Yep.
this.
Yep.
You got it? Yeah, take that shit 0.
What?
Phoenix,
There's a
I
gold
got
knockdown on the box
one.
outside.
Frag. I'm
Uh,
cool. Let's hunt these bitches down. If they didn't follow us when they knew where we were after they EMP'd us, like, not even scared of them.
Yeah,
You're not
probably
very
not.
threatening, ya bitch.
Unless they're super crafty.
It just came from over there. That's where they are.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see
saw
one of them.
somebody where I came.
Yeah, I see 2 of them. I hit one of them for 31. I hit the crypto for 31. 2 of them are up there somewhere.
Just saw one run that way. Alright, I'm going to catch up with Grim.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to throw a trampoline to get us up there.
Somebody's in this
Okay.
room.
There's at least 2 of them, Grim. At least 2.
Oh man, that fucked me up. He was hiding
Did you
behind
get
the
him?
doors. Yeah, come in. Go ahead. Yeah, I got him. He caught me and I had to, like, you know. Oh shit, outside, by
Shit,
me,
I'm
by
running all the
me.
way around the building.
Coming. I'm with you.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't get that kill, but
There it is, y'all bitch.
Double
bitch ass
champions.
so I think I got 2 kills and all of that nonsense.
Champions.
You guys, I thought you at least
Well,
got
but-
some of the last ones on the roof that we, like, you know, went crazy and zipped on.
Now,
Yeah.
now you
yeah,
guys
it,
got them.
But, dude, how many damage?
I
did you do?
can't
It's
see
not
your
showing you in
475.
Yeah, you don't see it either, 0? 475 and 2 kills.
It
yeah.
definitely felt like I was doing more, but I guess not.
the- Yeah, well, I mean, it was
Yeah,
more than it
well-
took to kill 2 people.
Yeah. Yeah, we were probably because
we were- I mean,
you
yeah.
know, we're shooting the same people at the same time usually.
Yeah,
Because we're
it
playing.
was a team
together,
effort.
So. Yeah. So between both of us, we could what? 14 people. That's like almost 5 squads.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you made it to level 200.
Oh, I'm level 200 after that. Oh, let me open my Apex track.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Alright, yeah, I got a pee too, so I'm gonna ready up. And then BRB.
Okay.
experiences where you sit back and say, oh yeah, I remember that. Break a leg. Mine are made of steel.
What do you want, Opie? What do you want, Opie? I ain't got time for you, Opie. Alright, I'm back.
Gibraltar's coming for you.
I'm back, and so is Opie.
Hell yeah! Welcome back to the
That was fun.
powerhouse of
Powerhouse of
punishment.
punishment. It's the powerhouse of punishment.
Shit, I don't know where to go.
And both of me are better than you.
Oh, yo, wait. Did we never switch
No,
it
we
back
never
to the
did
fucking
switch
new
it back
mode?
to the new game mode.
Damn.
Ain't we some dum-dums?
Yo, yo.
Hold your breath if you have to
We
breathe.
some
We some
dumb.
dum-dums. I was just
Oh,
telling
forgot
Joe
to
we
change
kept
it again.
forgetting, yeah. Well, that's cool, though. We've been champions in both game modes tonight.
Yeah. Putting the work in.
I'm grabbing my notebook. I'm back. Zero, your comment just gave
Have
me
you
an...
drawn something?
What are you writing in note in your notebook to change it to the other game mode?
Yep. Yep. No, Zero's comment just gave me an idea for the
There's somebody over there.
story.
Oh, it's
They went
comment.
up the steps. Oh,
The,
god damn. I got shot in the back by these motherfuckers.
Powerhouse of
Shit.
Pain. I forget. Punishment.
Punishment.
I have been downed.
This guy's almost dead right here.
Back up on my board, bitch.
Oh, that bitch.
Try to get over here with Grim. Oh,
Oh, hey, here, dude right here,
damn.
The other one's.
Oh, good try, good try.
Man.
It's okay, we'll switch modes. Hey, have you tried
We'll
those
do better
Prisma
with the
pencils
mode
yet?
switch.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
I have not. There is a YouTube guy that I watch who at least uses the black one. He always calls it like, don't let me get my trusty black Prisma pencil. Because it gives him, when he's doing, he usually does like, what he shows on his YouTube channel. He goes to like tips for like writing comic books and stuff. He shows just like line art, and he uses that because he can get like a real rich black as opposed to like a regular pencil that'll give him like a dark gray.
He calls it Wesley Snipes.
He's not racist, but sure.
At the Wesley Snipes color pencils.
Well, it's not racist to say somebody's real black.
I mean, is it racist to say someone's fake
Oh,
black?
Joe, so remember I told you there's this black dude, a Thug Life Interrupted or something on Facebook that I follow, and he says all this, he's all pro-black, don't date outside the black race, and kind of anti-white people type stuff, and he says all this stuff that seems profound, like all these conspiracy shits that aren't even true. A lot of stuff is like false, but he's like, it's not smart enough to realize.
Yeah.
I mentioned it before, you remember? Well, anyway, he posted something the other day. That's what reminded me of it. This crayon we would use to color white people when we were growing up, and it was the color of a peach. A picture of a peach crayon, like the
Right.
color peach.
Shit, did he?
Okay.
It's like, what's funny about that? Like, that's literally like the
Pretty
the
close,
closest
yeah.
color to white people's skin. But like all these black people thought it was hilarious, and I'm like, I don't even get it. Like,
Yeah, I don't
like,
get it either.
if I like posted something like a brown crayon, like this is what I color black people with. I mean, it's the closest color in
Right,
a
you're
8
just-
box of crayon. Like, what's so
Yeah.
funny about it? I don't even get it. I don't know. There's like 50
Nope,
people
they
landing
knocked
here.
me off the top.
Start swinging, start swinging.
No.
Oh man.
Oh my god, I can't
Get a gun. I am down.
get a gun. Can't get a gun. It's no fun when you can't get a gun. Oh, now I got a
I'm
gun.
getting executed, damn it. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, bitch. See ya.
Oh,
Got you too, motherfucker. Oh my gosh, I'm recording this shit. I'm on fire.
Oh. Well, don't die, Zio, because if you die, you can't get my box. Oh, wait, it's awaiting respawn. I forgot. We have the new game mode.
Shit. Yeah, I'm in kind of rough
Do you have any
shape.
heals? You don't have any heals? Kind of rough
nope.
shit. You have like 2 health. Literally.
Reloading.
Where's that other fucking dude I killed? Oh my god, I got shot when I was about to loot the box. One kid right here, Joe.
Save the day, Joe.
Oh, he's executing me. He's executing me.
Ah! Stop that execution.
Yeah, execution
No.
denied.
not today, son.
Get up. Come on, come
Oh,
on.
another one's coming. I think. Good shit. One of these has a damn.
They must not be very good.
Right, your skin
You
said
dropped the
somebody's
purple
above us.
body armor.
on the,
0.
What'd you say?
oh, you can't fill
For
it.
him?
You can't fill his
Oh,
armor.
take
that's
that. Take that blue one.
why. Oh,
Level 2.
Oh, okay.
Charging up my shields.
Well, thank you.
I guess I could have gave you the thingy.
What kind of ammo?
I'm used.
yeah, you
Yeah.
could
There you
give
go.
him the shield cell. No, I was saying this. I was watching Joe. His Eva said pew pew on the side of the skin.
That's fine.
Because it's gangsta.
Yeah, I was gonna see if there's anything up there in that box for you. Dude, there's somebody above us.
Alright,
Yeah, I hear them. Sure.
let's not do that. One more time.
Oh, to the right, to the right.
Oh, somebody's shooting from behind.
Oh, I'm
Got you, bitch.
Ah, that was nice. Finish him with the.
Fuck yeah. To your
Oh,
brain.
there's one more
Yeah,
step.
somebody in
There's
there.
one more to the left, to the left. Yeah. To the
Oh, shit,
right
in here.
now. How'd they get
Yeah.
over there?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
one more, another still. Oh, Joe, you're the one left.
He's got this. He's got this. Hell yeah.
Damn.
Oh my. Swinging past your
Fire.
knees,
Both
player.
you guys got 3 kills.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
And you're about to come right back.
Hell yeah. Fucking A right. I'm gonna drop these,
Not yet. When the circle
cells.
comes in, it's closing in, so however long it takes to close in, I guess. But I should come back.
There's
You
shotgun.
guys got 3 kills? I got 3 melee punches in so far.
Oh, there's a blue box down here.
Hey, yeah, that's pretty much the same thing.
I mean, they had a prowler and a blue shield. So
Yeah,
I mean,
hit 'em.
I didn't. I did what I could.
Yeah, I mean, you were punching, you know, I mean, come on.
Oh, that's the person. That's the person that killed me. Give me the something.
Optics here. Close range.
The
Well, we
box
gave
goes
them
in.
something.
Level 2.
Incoming care package.
R99 here. She's fast like me.
I was really enjoying the Eva,
Yeah, so
but there's no more shotgun shells.
Yeah, the Eva, close range, it can be devastating.
this is one of those nights when I can actually shoot the longbow and hit people with it. So that's a plus.
Somebody just flew in. What's that noise?
Yeah, I
You
don't
hear
know what that was.
I don't.
that? Maybe it was a
I
train.
heard the
weird
train.
glitchy noise. I don't know. I heard the train, but it sounded like something. So it's Kings of the Train Yard.
Yeah, when's that circle? Man, that circle's taking forever to close.
Here, I got some heals if you need them.
I could use a syringe, yeah, thanks.
Repairing my damages.
Oh, so I guess a minute and 8 seconds is how long till I get brought back.
Okay.
Yeah, there's weapons in that blue box of the guy you said that killed you. I don't know if it's still blue, but
I'll come back wherever you guys are.
Joe and I are still kill leader. Or if we both got 3, I've got a king thing. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Technically, Zero's kill leader. Maybe he had 3 first, then Joe got 3.
Yeah, I guess until somebody surpasses
Outdoes.
you, you're still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First one to 3 gets kill leader, and then I guess the next one to 4
Where do you
gets
see the crown thing?
Or your
See
skull
where
would
it
be
says
to
skull
get kills.
3? The skull is a crown on it if you're kill leader. Another weird thing I just noticed when I switch. Oh, I'm flying in. That's what happens. Okay. I'm flying from the ceiling.
Oh, okay. That's what they mean by
Nice.
spawn on you, kinda, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
So that's
box
cool.
is-
You can fly wherever.
yeah.
Oh, and you start
that-
with
Oh,
P2020.
nice.
Somebody else spawn in. Somebody else
shit.
spawn in.
Oh shit!
Whole other
Don't
squad.
tell me I'm gonna fucking instantly die.
Coming.
I gotta get the fuck out of here. God
I
damn
saw
it!
at least 2. I
What
saw
the
2 coming in.
Fuck! They're right in there, to the left.
I'm going to get Grim.
I killed an enemy. Come on, compadre.
I don't know where the second one is.
Come on, come on.
I hear another one. I hear him.
Got any
somewhere.
heavy
No.
ammo? I picked up a prowler, but I have 0 bullets in the prowler.
I got
and 0
45
out of
in
the
my
prowler.
Spitfire. That's it.
Here's the other dude. His shield's broken.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Now I'm killed. There's
Should've
heavy in
flown
there.
on the death squad, bitch.
You're the kill leader and I'm still alive.
I need to be picked up when you
Okay.
can. I'm right outside the window.
Grabbing some of these healers. I have like a shit ton of throwables.
I'm gonna drop down so I won't be so
Okay, I'm
out in the open.
Somebody else.
Somebody
flying
else is
in. What the
flying
fuck?
in.
Are these
Somebody get me
probably
up.
all-
Standing still. You're lucky, I like it.
Yeah, it may be their 3rd squad mate.
Anybody have heals? I can't
Yeah,
heal
yeah,
myself.
I
I
got
got
no
some.
heals. Shit.
Oh, they're like zipping Bubba some shit.
Here, there's.
Oh, I just got right there.
Let's go this way.
Behind that.
Oh shit, somebody's shooting
cargo
from over there
container.
too.
Oh, there's one closer.
Did 72 on that bitch.
Ah, fuck. There's 2 over there.
Did another 72. Yes,
There's 2 over there.
Go Grim.
Somebody's right up here on this wall. They're gonna kill me.
Got trouble here.
You played dead like a pro.
Ah!
Oh, so close.
Fucker not die.
Ooh, good kills, Joe. We all did fine. I mean, that was just
Yeah. So
we
that
couldn't get away
robot-
from the.
Here's what I did to the robot. 72, 72, 26, 36, 108. I guess he healed up in between. Like
Oh,
fully.
shit. Yeah, that's weird. I got pee. I'll be right back.
Ah.
I need an extended light mag.
Y'all work my job?
7 a.m.
So what are your off days? usually?
It changes every week. This week,
Oh, it's not the
no.
same every week? No.
this week I am off. I think I'm off Saturday. I'm off Saturday or Sunday. I think I'm off Saturday. Then I'm off Monday, and then I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then I'm off. Then for some reason I'm off.
Wait, so you're off Saturday,
No, I'm
Sunday,
off Saturday
and
and
Monday this
Monday,
week?
and then I'm working Tuesday.
Oh, I thought you said
No,
Saturday, Sunday.
I said that I'm
And then
off
Tuesday,
one of
Wednesday.
those days, Saturday or Sunday. Then I thought about it, and I'm
okay.
pretty sure that I'm working Sunday. Pretty sure I'm working all day Sunday. So I'm off Saturday, then I'm off Monday, and then I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then I'm off, I believe, Friday and Saturday this week, and then next week, starts on Sunday, and then I'm off Sunday and Monday, and then I work the rest of that week. So it'll work
Yeah,
out to give me a 4-day weekend.
You
but-
gotta be up. You gotta be at work, like super
Yeah,
early
7
tomorrow.
a.m.
When are you having the 4-day weekend? Do you have plans, or you just did it?
They just
happened
scheduled
like
it like that.
Ah, okay. And then do you have to work 10 days in a row after that?
No, work 5 days in a row.
Or
Yeah,
5 in a
5
row?
days in a row.
I mean,
Let's go for a ride. Yeah, I'm ready for this. I'm so ready for this. I am extremely ready for this. We ready?
It'll be nice having having 1 day off
All of our enemies.
is cool. But like I'm usually just like beat and don't want to do anything, so like I wind up wasting it. Having 2 days off, I'm a little bit motivated on the second day, but having 4 days off, I'm definitely gonna finish Nicole's bookcase and clean out the garage and set that up so I can actually like do work in the garage.
yeah. It's the whole point of having a garage. Well, the best
Yeah.
thing is having a garage.
And also,
At least
I've
being
been
able to use
watching
it.
I've been really into art. Like, I mean, with this whole working out this comic book thing, I've been watching a shit ton of YouTube about art. So watching these things, just like tips on how to do a comic book, how to make characters, how to do this, how to do that type of stuff. It's led me into like how to make money with art, which isn't what I was searching for, but it would be awesome if like I could make money off. If I could like sell some of these paintings and make money, or like do paintings specifically to sell, I think that'd be so fucking awesome. So I found a video of a dude who did it through Craigslist, because he was working for a company was closing, so his boss wanted him to liquidate a bunch of the stuff from the business, so he learned how to use Craigslist pretty well, and then
hammer point.
posted this stuff set up like, oh shit,
Dude's over there.
there's a lifeline with an energy gun in here by that bin.
Well, I got a Mozambique. Oh, knockdown, Mozambique, bitch. How you like them apples? Knockdown from across the fucking way, bitch.
Hell yeah.
Coming from the McCution, bitch. Where you going to? Here. Where the fuck is she? Did she
Oh, she's
drop
right here.
off?
Oh,
Just killed me.
She couldn't have got that far.
Oh, I
knocked
was talking about the lifeline.
Yeah.
got the lifeline.
You got to bed?
Shit.
Oh my god.
Oh, I can't revive you. I forgot.
Good night. Love you.
Ah, you idiot. Oh, maybe that was a fast guy then.
Oh, dude's over here.
See if I got the kill. Yeah, that was the dude. Alright, I'm coming. Yeah,
She's hurt a
gun.
little.
Oh, both you're down.
Okay, at what time?
Alright,
Right here.
there's a mag in here. I need it. Alright.
Dude, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's
Got
only
it.
one person, Grim.
Ping him if you see him. Ping him if you see him.
Opie,
They're
come here.
inside
Opie,
there
come
last
here.
I checked.
Said where? You're
Come here, bud.
pinging, like, yourself?
Oh no, shit.
pinging
I didn't
yourself,
know it
bro.
was Right in this building.
Oh, what the fuck?
He was definitely like looking at the sky when he was pinging. I don't know why he would ping himself. That's weird.
It's that plant. Like the plant was in my
It
Well,
just looked
point of
like all
view,
these enemy
and I was
pings were
on the
coming out of
plant.
your body shield.
That's weird.
Oh yeah, I mean
That's
the
what it
plant
looked like
was
on my
directly in
screen.
front of me. It must have been pinging the plant. I don't know, or maybe it was just glitching.
Well, because you were moving around, it was just following you wherever you were crawling to. Fucked up.
Hmm.
Damn, if I
Yeah,
knew what
that's
building he was
strange.
in,
Yeah, I was
probably
like,
wouldn't
well-
got murked.
We'll see.
Damn,
she must
that's
have
a
ran
dumb
around
glitch.
when I wasn't.
There's been a lot of
looking.
glitches people have been saying with the since the update.
Um,
One of them I
she
notice
wasn't-
all the fucking time is when I'm flying in his Mirage, the decoys don't work 90% of the time, pretty much.
Oh,
At least
yeah, weird.
75% of the time, they just don't work. So what we're saying, yeah.
She was the building she was actually in. I didn't see her get in that. I saw her in the building directly next to it, and she somehow ran away without me seeing. I must have looked over toward where you were at or something for a second, and she ran to the next building, but... And then she just fucking hid, because I didn't hear her walking around or anything.
Yeah, they were just hiding in the corner waiting for me to run in and shoot me in the back and kill me. Yep.
Death is not mercurial.
They got me.
It's patient, unlike life.
So this video that I found, dudes set up a post on Craigslist, which I definitely want to try. I don't have enough art to do it yet, but he set up on Craigslist and was like, yeah, like I've been an artist for 20 years, so I have a whole bunch of art just sitting around my house. I'm sick of lugging it from place to place. I just want to get rid of it. I just want to get it out of my house, make a little bit of money so I could buy some art supplies and make more art. They were paintings, some sketches and drawings and stuff. Hold on. What? Oh shit. Hold on, I gotta give this up to you guys. I gotta go fix the bed.
Oh.
Okay, I guess we'll go to this village.
Alright. I guess try to land on a roof.
Okay.
You land
yeah.
like
Well,
right here. You can land on a roof and then drop down, I guess. I don't know.
I'll smear Joe off.
Oh,
I tried to smear Joe off
landing
the
here
wall.
too.
Shit.
First blood, and it's not us.
Oh, I got no weapon yet.
Come on, Opie, you're not moving.
I've only seen one so far.
You're still in the fucking way. Alright, I'm back.
Fuck.
Placing gas trap.
I'm being shot from behind. I know I'm being shot from in front of me. Fuck.
I almost killed a Gibraltar who probably has a real gun with bullets now. I only have 8 bullets.
Oh, there's
I
a
just picked up a
devotion in here.
devotion. Somebody's about to kill me though.
Okay. Alright. Where you at? I'm coming. Shit.
Yeah,
I
no,
couldn't
it's
get
fine.
there in time.
It's because I had to go away
Oh,
and
shit.
do a fucking thing.
Well, Zero, follow me this way. This is where that fucking Gibraltar at. I want to fucking kill him.
Okay, there's a guy behind us though that I'm coming to you.
Oh
but
shit! I'm not
there's
almost
another
dead.
one.
I fucking didn't even know. Alright.
The purple barrel.
Level 3.
Somebody's on us.
Yep.
Coming in that door we just came in.
Yeah, they're on the roof.
Are they?
Or were. They're moving around fast. I don't know where the fuck they're at. I'm trying to sneak mode in the corner. Well, there's 2 of them, remember.
I do like me some sneak mode. I thought they were trying to come in this door here.
Well, they
Yeah, I
were,
don't
and then
know,
they
man.
jumped
I
on the
don't-
roof, and now they're not on the roof. I
They
don't know
might have
where
just
they're
ran
fucking-
away like bitches.
Yeah, they were definitely sticking around the building for a minute, though.
I'm gonna move on. Whoa, you want
Prowler
this
there.
energy gun? Yeah, I was gonna say, you want this energy gun? Because there's a prowler.
Which energy gun?
Devotion.
Yeah, I'll take it. Here you go. Oh, hell.
There's the energy
Yeah.
gun. I don't have any heavy ammo, so I could use some if we find some. Over here. That's the
Come.
Gibraltar. Oh, you like that? Oh shit! Somebody's
somebody
back here
close.
too. Help me! They're killing me. They got an energy gun.
I was firing at the one guy.
I'm fucking dead. Shit.
Shit, I can't.
I have no more heals.
Gibraltar's on me.
Where'd they
Gibraltar got
come
me with
out?
his goddamn pussy shield.
God damn.
I see the other one too.
Got sniped by somebody far and shit away.
Okay, whatever. Oh well, he had his Gibraltar shield. That's
You
why I
still here,
hurt
Joe?
him more.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're dead.
And that Gibraltar shield just saved your ass, little man.
Opie, what are you doing?
He's riding for the Sons of Anarchy.
In Hanka's area.
I am ready. I hope you are too.
My thesis.
It's a good day to check out some pools and be back in time for dinner. Got pork chops tonight. Love pork chops.
No, you can't be free. I really want to chew fucking shoes.
Introducing your champion.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Shit, where'd this pen go?
Shoe chewing dog. That sounds like some kind of country song or something.
Yeah, he's like every dog trope there ever was.
Just a thought we could land here.
Have you guys ever seen that
Best part.
Ben Stiller movie, Mystery Men?
Um,
Where they're like
Yep,
shitty
no decoys.
superheroes.
What movie? Mystery what?
Mystery Men. Mystery Men.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we're like a superhero task force kind of.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
all weird.
But it's
like
all-
that.
yeah.
What the fuck just happened?
It just like made me land on like a
God
little ledge up
damn.
top.
Yeah, I landed on top and just, I'm telling you, mechanic.
I got a Mozambique and she don't.
Son of a fucking bitch, dude.
Enemy taken down.
It's some weird glitch. I was flying right for the top part where I always land, and I hit like an invisible wall and just fucking fell down.
There and there.
Yeah.
I'm
There was like two teams fighting each other in that circle there.
Oh.
Fuck! Come on, Opie, stop chewing my shoes, man. Like you're chewing the shoes on my fucking.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. She goddamn ducked my shit. Jeez.
Sam, where? Isn't there somebody closer to me, like up here?
I have no idea. There's two just ran out of the building though.
I don't know. This I think is my last game. I can't.
Yeah, yep. That's the guy right behind me that I was scaring. Motherfucker.
Alright.
Too much
Yeah,
dog
I
shit.
play, he's
right
not
leader,
gonna let
man.
me
Should've
play,
went for
so
them
I have
first.
to. That's my last game. I'm done. So,
Alright, man. Have a
Why
good
don't you just
night.
kick
Joe.
him out of your room?
well, because then he
Can't do
just
that?
sits in the other room and cries. So I'm not gonna go to bed
Right.
anyway. I have to get up. I have to get Kim up at like 4
Oh, right.
4:30. So I can
Oh
take
yeah,
her
word.
to the
Shit.
airport.
Yeah, man. So we'll
No.
you know, we'll see you when you can get back
Yeah, I
on.
will.
Hope you have a good day
I should be
tomorrow.
on tomorrow night.
Alright.
And especially if I'm
I
off
probably will.
Saturday, which I think I am, then I can play late tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I'll almost certainly be on tomorrow night.
Alright, yeah, we'll figure this shit out.
No. Sounds good, man.
Ask Opie if he wants some wine to go with those French fries.
Opie, Zero wants to know if you want to get kicked in the teeth because you're a bitch. He says yes, please.
I heard him say yes. Now you gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Viewer time. See you,
See
Joe.
yous. Adios. Have fun.
Later.
You want to keep playing?
Alright. So, I want to say thank you for coming out, each and every single one of you. I appreciate it. It means more than you'll ever know. You could have been anywhere on a Thursday, on a THICC Boy Thursday. You could have went anywhere in the world, but you were here with me, or with us, with me, Grim and Zero. I want to say thank you to Grim for the games. Thank you to Zero for the games. I appreciate it. Shout out to my brother for following me yesterday, or I guess it was yesterday. No, I didn't play yesterday. Tuesday, maybe? He texted me and asked me how he could get to the stream and give me a follow, which I appreciate. I mean, this isn't his scene, and he's put the effort in to actually create a Twitch account, follow me, and do all that stuff. So I appreciate it. I don't know, maybe video games could be a scene. I don't know, maybe we can get him into some games, hang out and play. I don't know. Anyway, so thank you for coming out. I really do appreciate it. Also, the engagement I'm getting on the Instagrams, on the Facebooks, on all the socials. I don't really use Twitter as much as I should, but I'll do it. I'll get into it. But so it's Mechanic on all socials, MCANNIC. Except Twitter, it's Mechanic G for Mechanic Gaming. Also follow Zero Logic Gaming on both Instagram and Facebook. Also the Zeddy on Mixer, and I think it's the Zeddy on Twitch as well. The co-founder of Zero Logic, the CEO, and Armored Ozzy, good dude, younger kid, good streamer, great Apex player, plays Minecraft and other stuff too. Good dude. But yes, thank you for coming out. Thank you for stopping by and doing what you do. I appreciate it. To those that didn't come out,